Okay. First of all, I just want to start off by saying thank you, God. You know, it's easy to just lose your mind and be frustrated, but the validation that we have are just magical. And I want to just say, the reason why I say thank you, God, is because there's no way that you can escape reality. This purpose, as horrible as what we're going to go through, um, I'm just so thankful. And my videos are very repetitive. Actually, I was supposed to make a video where I recorded all the obvious validation, and somehow I messed up. I pressed the wrong button, and it was deleted. And honestly, it doesn't faze me because this is the kind of things I can do a billion times. Because these perps are supposed to be doing that, watching me going through that, and manipulate me. I want them to just live their life where reality is put in their face 24/7. So if I reduce something that puts them back in this in the reality of what they're part of, I can do that a billion times. So I wasn't even frustrated. It's like, okay, that's perfect. Let's do this again. Because target individual, we are being the reality they put in they change us 24/7. For me, it's like, here's reality. I'll do that a billion times if I need to. Matter of fact, it's good that I need to do it again so we can go through this again. Because trash like them, they want to live a different reality, and I will refuse to that. I refuse to let them live in this falsified reality. I know that I'm dying. Oh, things are happening to me. But these trash are living life, right? They are alive, quote unquote. They're not gonna live life where they delude themselves for something else. I will put that in their face as long as I can. The manipulation, the disgustingness of what they're part of, how they manipulate the brain, what this is really about, the clowniness and the theatrics I will never identify with. And I'll be like, this is why. Use your child like people. I will put that they will have to dumb themselves down to a level of no return. I woke up last night. It's like, oh, they're gonna pummel you, they're gonna do this and that because they talk about how they're gonna frame you. Listen, when you put reality in people in their faces to that level, it becomes provocating, right? They wanted to create this fantasy. They try to present you as this pedophile, as if you're the pedophile and they're the one protecting kids. You know how humiliating it is? That the reality that they actually are the pedophiles and it's been validated in ways that's magical is just crazy. That's why I don't mind making these videos again. I don't mind putting that in their face 24/7. Reality is going to put in their face. When they manipulate the thought process. For example, as I'm saying that, they try to do something in my mouth. There was these pictures, right? You see two kids. It looks like two little boys, right? Hitting somebody. The way they make me look at this kid's butt was just nasty. And the way they were trying to trick my brains, like they wanted to make me figure out if this is a girl, if it's a boy. Because the truth is, they can do this nasty manipulation on either. It doesn't matter. But because I have a picture on my profile, my dating profile, holding a little boy, it makes it hard for them to prove this stupidity of manipulation, this disgusting manipulation. Because like, what happened there? So they start making me look at this kid's butt. This kid's butt in a way that's almost sexual. And they were trying to get me to like think if this kid was a girl or a boy. It looks like a boy. But they were trying to make me look at this kid's butt as if that's gonna... And they start creating some thoughts in a sexual way. It's just nasty. You see, this thought manipulation, this perception manipulation are all meant to break you down and make you accepting of these pedophilia things they do to you. And then you hear this trash like, no, not pedo. Like, these people are manipulating the brain in a very pedophilia way. Perverse would be one thing. Listen, I have my own perversion. I know who I am, right? I'm not perfect. I know my perception, my perversions, and I know who I truly am. I'm not going to stand here and pretend like I'm this innocent human being no. But they manipulate my what I could say, my perversions into children. That's what make me look at this kid's butt like in this way. This is how, per se, if I was being perverse, that's how I would look at a woman. But they apply it to children, to babies. That's what they do. They are rewiring the thought process. It's supposed to frustrate you. It's supposed to break you down. But it's the nasty things you do. You cannot identify with these things. You cannot. If they can do that to these babies, imagine what they can do. It's so nasty. So nasty. And they've done that to like all kind of babies, all kind of toddlers, all kind of kids of all age. Nastiness. Forcing you to perceive these kids in sexual ways that just makes no sense. This baby, what the hell? But that's what they do. And for me, it's just like, I will never identify with this nastiness. I'd rather die in your hell, and I know it's going to be hell, than live life where this is something I do casually. This is how I make my life. That's how I live my life. To rewire the brain in this way. Their job is to really find when to rewire the brain. They try to then present, now we're studying the brain. My brain hasn't been mine since August 19, 2019. It's been pure manipulation since that day. I have not been myself. You're studying how you can manipulate me in a certain fashion. That's it. You're analyzing what can be manipulated in what way. I have not been authentically myself since that day, August 19, 2019. And since that day, this trash, I've been just rewiring my brain. Then try to make me accept this persona, this facade, like, oh no, we look at me, look at us, we're just studying your brain, like this clown. Yes, my brain has not been myself. You're studying how to change my brain, how to make me experience this nastiness, how to break me down. That's what you're studying. How to weaponize a brain, how to change somebody. Then present this facade to try to make me think, oh my gosh, she's so. No, of course, I have not been myself since that day. And I will get less and less myself with time. I have not experienced a fully authentic experience. Never. You know, I can feel my voice going away. But if this is how it goes away, that's okay. Let me just make sure that my last words are clear words that I have never identified with your nasty manipulations and how you make me perceive these babies, these kids. All this nastiness is what you're going to do to me to break me down. It's a tactic to break me down. All the babies you have this disgusting perception to. I know it was my brain being manipulated in this fashion. And you have trash that comes in all fucking form. I call them trash. They are trash. They have to understand that at this point they're just trash. They come in all shape and form. Try to gaslight you in all different ways. In all different ways. Using their tonality while interacting with you via V2K. They are just trash. And I put that in their face. As you're going to see again. You're going to hear that they have these tactics of manipulating your perception, your thoughts in this very perverse way. And when I mean perverse, it's not perverse in a way that you look at a woman and look at this woman in a perverse way. No, children. In all fashion, the validation has been they have been destroying them. You know, at one point they were trying to say, oh, because I'm now a citizen, but I was not born a citizen. And they're trying to say, no, you see how you acquire your citizenship. I'm like, one thing is for sure. You will find so many testimonials of American men and women. This is so global, but so domestic at the same time. It's ridiculous. There are so many testimonials. I mean, let me just show you. This woman, this foreigner, right? Look at this foreigner. She's from a country called Texas.
Hey, I just woke up after a pretty rough night. The same thing happened last night as the night before, which was whenever I was trying to go to sleep, the private parts of my body began being burned again, and it felt like...
As you can hear the foreigner in her, right? This is just it's obviously, will never be applied to American citizen, right? This is definitely.
Worked for the Justice Department. She worked on the global mapping of that system. And when I told her what I was going through, all she could say was, "You're on your own." Well, I figured that out. If you would please, I urge you to pass this. I realize you can't enforce it, but if you would pass it, it might give other communities the courage to do the same thing and show our Defense Department we are not the enemy. We are not to be attacked. We are not terrorists. Most of us are defenseless women.
You see, she's from a country called Wisconsinite. You heard of that country? You see, this is obviously not happening domestically. There's probably more testimonials of American citizens than any other country. It seems like this has been more prevalent in America than any other country. But obviously, it's global because this is they need to do this. This is what this is about.
This program. And they need to sample all cultures, language throughout the world to define the probability matrices of which tricks, techniques, deception works. So how do you control them? Most people don't believe that.
And that's why this needs to be global. I mean, in America, you probably can get samples of almost all countries, but there's also cultural things that they want to be able to apply, like to see how it applies to their brain. In my brain, how they try to change these things, and that's when these people have no shame. When they do this nasty pedophilia type of torture, they're like, no, this is your culture or something like that. But because what they do is they do this pedophilia type of torture, and especially toward little black girls, and they're like, no, this is you, we mapped it to you as a kid. They do this pedophilia type of torture everywhere. And of course the validations.
It's what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of...
And this pedophilia-centric culture, oh yeah, the reality of who has this culture is magical.
Why so many pedophiles allowed to be given top-level security clearance? Remember, these aren't just people walking in off the street.
So in every ways, it's been validated. These people are truly have the issue of pedophilia. They abuse children using sexual torture. They would try to talk about me as a kid, right? Doing something as an impulsive kid in middle school. Now, as a child, from all around the world, kids have a developing brain, and children can do impulsive things. Matter of fact, they've been embarrassed by reality, but they know this reality. They try to exaggerate what I did as a child in middle school. Something I did to myself as a child in middle school. And it's obvious a child can do this kind of impulsive act. It's inappropriate, but it's an act of a child. So that makes sense that a child can have this inappropriate act. Never happen again. They love to say, no, that's abuse. Now, the humiliating reality is, of course, children can have this impulsive, inappropriate action, especially if it never happens again. That's what a child is capable of doing due to the lack of developing brain. It is children. They don't understand the concept of what should be of boundaries of what should be, what they can do, not do. And so they can do impulsive acts that never happen again. They try to exaggerate that as much as they can, right? And the sad part is, like, There was an article that just called out the exact same fact. It's like children, just because they're impulsive and the child brain is still developing, you can never compare the brain of a child to an adult. Well, this trash would actually abuse children. Try to make me accept of this manipulation that I'm having today by saying that they're making my brain the brain of mine when I was a child. Even in that sense, you gotta understand how stupid they have to make themselves be. Obviously, that makes no sense. Why would you make an adult brain into a child brain? Doesn't even make sense. You don't try to make somebody be a child unless you try to make them be mentally handicapped. But it's just a way they try to make you accepting of this manipulation they force me to have today. Because if I see little kids, especially little black girls or little girls, period, they are going to make me have these nasty reactions. They're going to make me have this nasty sexual stimulation toward these babies. They're going to give me a sensation that they've done to others. And then try to get you to be accepting of this by saying, no, you felt like that when you were a kid. Can you imagine? But, like I said, the reason why I don't mind saying these things a million times is because they torture children. They abuse children. This program that this trash tried to create as this protective actually a program where they torture children. They harm these kids, even the private part of kids. These people have kids involve themselves in a program where sexual torture is applied onto children. That's why I don't mind making this video a billion times. I'm putting that in their face. Because when I see you, I was like, I know you involved in a program that torture children. You talk about me as a kid? Kids can do dumb things like that. You're a grown-ass man. You probably have kids yourself. You know the impulsiveness of a child. You know the brain of a middle schooler is not a brain of an adult. They don't. Things are still restructuring that. But you are a full-grown man with full awareness, full conscience to understand that you're involved in a program that tortures children, babies. And you still try to play this game? You're delusional trash. What should happen to people like you? It's not even something I'm capable of doing. But if somebody is capable of doing that moment, if that thing happens to you, you shouldn't ask yourself why. Why would that happen to me? When I'm involved in a program where children are being tortured. And trash like you are forcing people to have this manipulation, then try to make these people think, no, this is happening because your brain is being mapped in this way. Clown ass. They're just restructuring the brain, they're changing the brain. Then they send these clowns to try to gaslight you to accept these things. Whatever horrible torture I'm going to go through, because I was hearing this person saying, oh, they're going to pummel you, they're going to do this. Like, God, give me strength for all of this horrible torture. They've been humiliated by reality. If I can put that in their face,
4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, ow. I observed...
You understand how embarrassing it is? They talk about their kids or whatever. I was like, whatever horrible things I'm going to go, I got to run to it. I'm talking to people involved in a program where sexual torture is being applied on children that's 4 years old. 4 years old, 5 years old, both of those kids, Down syndrome, mentally handicapped. They're involved in that, very, very, very aware of that, very much aware. They know this is happening to a whole family with babies in it. But they enjoy the incentives. They are gods remotely. The things they can do to me or to anybody, you see who's talking to you? What's waiting for them is TBD, but it's going to come for me because I embarrass them like this. I put that... Imagine just be able to do this. While these clowns are here presenting this facade. You know how much of a clown you look when I can pull this?
Miss Catherine Nestor.
Miss Catherine Nestor, and I'm from Pennsylvania. This commission has spoken of a long history of abuse of the human research subject. No one mentioned MKUltra today. President Clinton recently apologized for this. My young child and I have been used as non-consensual test subjects. We have been subjected to COINTELPRO-like stalking, remote neural monitoring, and electromagnetic torture, resulting in psychological and physical damage. And I won't go into the details of that, because I have 4 pages written in here, is very similar to Connie's testimony. Please do not wait 70 years to investigate this. I asked Dr. Amy Gutman to begin today. There is new work for the Commission for Human Subject Protection on our shores. And please give us a dramatic response, Susan, and please give us a congressional hearing. Thank you.
And you heard her saying on our shore, you know, this trash are like, oh, we proved that they're gonna savage. I was like, cut. Do you know how sad these people are? They talk about me as a child like this. And the embarrassing reality, and what I love to put that in their face, is the embarrassing of the reality of what they party. Look. Say they mapped me to my brain at this age. Now, these people who proved it happen to have this embarrassing reality.
Has come under investigation for links to the proliferation of graphic material called Project Flicker. Some 5,000 individuals have been identified as having subscriptions to child porn sites, including many DoD affiliated persons. So this ongoing national investigation has now prompted the House to introduce a bipartisan bill that would help the DoD stop the use of its network to, quote, possess, procure, or produce child pornography. Joining us to discuss this, investigative journalist Ben Swan. So Ben, the Pentagon already takes measures to limit worker access to stuff like porn by rolling out what they call the Personal Electronic Device PED policy, where workers have to drop off their phones and lockers before entering their offices. All their online searches are accessible by security if or when needed. Their Wi-Fi access is monitored in digital security sweeps. So how is this happening?
Well, it's happening because even though there is a certain amount of limitation on access, those who are working in the Department of Defense, clearly it appears to be thousands of individuals in the Department of Defense, are finding ways around this, specifically by using the Department of Defense IP addresses and also apparently peer-to-peer sharing within the department's network. So this study that was done on this issue, and it is to essentially say, look, we're not doing enough to stop it from coming in, but we're also not doing enough peer-to-peer sharing within the department's network. So this study that was done on this issue, and it is pretty horrifying, Manila, to consider this, it shows that the Department of Defense ranked 19th out of almost 3,000 networks in terms of peer-to-peer sharing of child pornography. That is absolutely incredible. This bill attempts to essentially say, look,
and outlet of daily scrutiny just going in and out of work. Is it fair then to the tens of thousands who are completely innocent to further allow that much more government intrusion into their their digital devices or the things that they're dealing with on their computers?
Well, remember that what's being talked about here is not an intrusion into